with Jack Black for the time being and for the foreseeable future. So here is Jack Black on Turn Out a Punk, episode 200, to further investigate whether or not there is a photo of him moshing for the hardcore California punk legends, visual discrimination. Jack, thank you for coming back to the show.
Of course.
Well,
I'm back.
You are back with a vengeance, my friend. And I didn't feel like I could safely transition into the post episode 200 era without asking you some like hanging chads of questions that I have left over.
Well, I'm glad that you reached out. I don't want any hanging chads.
No, sir. Well, that also brings me to, since you were last on the show, I feel like we've seen Jack Black turn a little more Jello Biafra.
Say that again.
Well, I think you've turned a little more Jello Biafra. You've gotten a little more political as of late. Or I've just
yeah,
watched,
a little bit.
Yeah. So I'd like to think that was maybe part of this show, bringing out your punk rock side and not the terrible state of the world we're in right now.
I'll give you 10%.
10% is good enough. You know,
I mean, you weren't looking for like 50-50 split.
Hell no.
I have to be the captain of my own voyage.
Absolutely. No, I just want to know that we're in the stew somewhere. We're like a little bit of salt on top.
You definitely lit a fire.
Well, that makes me feel awesome. Speaking of awesome, though, I never asked you last time about being on one of my favorite shows ever, one of my first favorite TV shows ever, Fall Guy.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Fall Guy. That was like my first real gig, kind of. Like acting in a show with a plot, with a beginning, middle, and end. But, yeah, it was a flashback to when Lee Majors' character on that show was a kid. And I was trying to turn him, I was like his best friend that was trying to turn him to a life of crime, to steal some baseball mitts from the local sporting goods store. And, yeah, that's the role. It was a major stepping stone for me because my favorite show growing up was $6 Million Man.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in to audition for that, for the Fall Guy, and I got to meet Lee Majors, and I kicked ass in the audition, and he gave me the part. So it was like extra special. It was like I had been anointed by the Bionic Man.
Absolutely. Well, like, you seem to play bad guys a lot, because after you were on the show, someone sent in a screen capture of you playing kind of like a punk rocker on the show Life Goes On.
That's right. Yeah, I guess I had a little bit of a devilish look.
Yes.
Little mischievousness as a kid that got me some of those good baddie roles. Also, a little known nugget, Never Ending Story Part 3. I play a skinhead gang leader. Very scary role.
What were your inspirations for these characters like then? Because you know, like, not saying you're not a tough guy or anything, but at the same time, you're one of the sweetest human beings I've ever met. So who were the inspirations for these scary skinheads and punks you were playing?
I'm trying to think back if I used any kind of like anyone as a model to build a character, and I don't think I was real deep into the research back then.
Yeah,
I think I was just going off the top of my head and like, well, you know, who would have been the rad baddies back in the day? You know, I saw this movie when I was a kid. What was that movie? It was like set in the 50s, and it was about gangsters, not gangsters, but like young skinhead gangs. Oh man, I think it was from the UK.
A British film in the 60s about skinhead gangs.
No, it was set in the 50s or 60s. Oh God, I can't remember what it was, but
I will find this out though. This will be my next round of research.
It was kind of like the UK's answer to the what was that one with that fucking shit? Can't remember shit.
The Outsiders?
Yes, thank you. It was like the UK's answer to The Outsiders.
Not Quadrophenia.
No,
I will find this out. I will fix this in the intro for this segment, and
thank you.
I will get this. But that would have been kind of like an inspiration. I was just wondering, like, because the shows you would have gone to would have had some of the tougher elements of Southern California, if not all
Yeah,
American hardcore and punk rock.
I mean, just thinking about it now, it's like the only skinheads I was really familiar with were like suicidal tendencies,
Yep.
but trying to think of some other like good examples of my Southern California skinhead experience. Nothing's coming to mind really.
Well, this brings me to why I really need you on the show is because I think we have more information on the great mystery of whether or not that was a photograph of you moshing at that show way back when. I have now, thanks to once again a listener who was very, very excited about the fact that we had uncovered this information, sent in a flyer for the show that he thinks it might have been. And it turns out
Yeah.
the show would have been headlined by Bad Religion. Jack, do you remember going to see Bad Religion at
Oh
the country
shit.
club?
Oh shit. No. That I would have remembered that. I wonder if that was pre Brooks Wackerman Bad Religion, or if
Oh, it
he
would have
was
been way,
already.
yeah.
It would have been way pre.
That would have been pre Brooks being in Suicidal too.
It would have been OG lineup.
OG lineup. It would have been very, very early on.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm sorry, man. I want to give you that closure.
No, Jack, I just want the truth. That's what I'm here for, man. And as long as you give us the truth, then we are very happier, and we will continue to dig. And one day we will find, well, maybe we'll go back in time. We'll have a time machine, and we'll be able to go back.
I think there was a purple-haired punk rock chick who was slamming and stage diving. That's just one more piece of information for you. That's
Okay.
coming back to me now.
Okay. Well, then we are closer to discovering whether or not that photograph of that guy moshing is of yourself. Another thing, Heat Vision and Jack, an unbelievable pilot that never went. It was just a pilot, right, for TV?
That's right. That's right. One of the ones that got away.
Well, I've seen a very poor quality bootleg copy of it years ago, but when my kids and I were discovering Yo Gabba Gabba and the brilliance that is Yo Gabba Gabba, on your episode, you emerge on a talking motorcycle. Was that a nod to Heat Vision and Jack?
Of course it was.
It was?
I mean, of course. I mean, in my mind, it was. You'd have to ask Christian. You know any of the Yo Gabba Gabba peeps?
I've danced on stage for them before, and I've talked to them on the phone before. But I have definitely consumed more hours of their content than anything else in my life, I think.
I don't remember what the conversation was, but I remember thinking, well, obviously this is a nod to Heat Vision and Jack. But I was basically just doing what they told me. It wasn't my idea to do that, but yeah, the talking motorcycle. Dude, Dan Harmon, Rob Schraub, who are now like... Dan Harmon has the most popular animated show on television now. Have you watched any of the Rick and Morty's?
Yeah, no, and also it's crossed over now. It's like, I would say, just like a pop culture phenomena.
Yeah. So I'm stoked to be part of his pre Rick and Morty history, because that's an amazing accomplishment that he's gone on to do since then.
What an amazing show! It's like you, Ben Stiller, him, Owen Wilson, right?
Yes, yeah, Owen Wilson as the voice of the motorcycle, which is the easiest gig. He's barely in it when you think of like he was there for like a half hour in the recording studio, but still, yes, it technically counts as a collaboration between me and Owen Wilson. But yeah, that was a heartbreaker. I really wanted that to get picked up to series, because once again, it had my favorite element from childhood, the $6 million Man. It owed a lot to that Bionic Man 1970s magic. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It had a real kind of, I don't know, it would have been like a real fun show to see it go to network, but it felt definitely ahead of its time.
Yeah, maybe now.
Well, one last question, Jack, that's been burning a hole in my brain for years
Yeah.
since I saw Heat Vision and Jack way back when in like the year 2000
Mm.
was when you guys were making Enemy of the State.
Mm-hmm.
Did you view it as a follow up to The Conversation?
Um,
Like, were you guys talking about that at all? About how Gene Hackman's kind of playing the same, like a a continuation of that character?
yeah, that was floated. Is that's what it was? It was a sequel to The Conversation, but it's so different in tone and style.
Oh yeah,
Even though even though he is technically the same character, I don't think of it as a sequel to The Conversation at all. I personally, I think it's a fun like popcorn thriller, but The Conversation is a work of art.
yeah.
They're two different things completely.
Well,
Like you could compare it to, if you wanted to, you could compare it to like The Color of Money as a sequel to
the Chase.
the Hustler,
Oh yeah, the Hustler. That's it. Sorry.
which is like that those are, but that's closer to staying true to the original intent. You know, when you got
Yeah.
Scorsese picking up where the old classic left off. But even then, it's like so much time has passed, and they are such different films. It doesn't really work. I've never said it. You can't make a sequel 30 years later and expect it to track properly. Did you see that Wizard of Oz sequel, or is it a
Uh,
prequel?
no, that was. I think it was a sequel, right? Because they talk about all the characters being dead. I think at one
Yeah,
point.
man, that was fucking surreal. That
That
was
was
like
surreal.
60 years later, or
Yeah,
was it more?
I think it was
When did the OG was
89.
like 1931?
Yeah, and then the other one's 89, I think, or 90
Not
maybe
80.
something.
No way, dude. 99. I think that was post 2000, bro.
No, no,
I
no,
think you're off. You're
no,
off by like fucking 20 years, bro.
no. I was scared of it in the theater, so
I
I
think it
remember.
might have come out last year. I think it might be a 2007 to 18.
I'm checking this out right now
30.
because
I
I
think it
don't.
was 80 years, dude. I think it was an 80 years later.
Okay, I'll bet you a star on the Walk of Fame. Oh, damn it, my computer's not loading with it. It doesn't want me to prove you wrong. Uh,
I'm so right on this one. I thought I was bad at dates. Dude, you are off by decades. I'm off by years, but you.
well, and
You're like, you thought it was in the 80s. Dude, I don't even think, what's his name, who's in that?
no, it's what's her name from oh man, my mind's going. The Craft, right? She plays the kid in it. Return to Oz, 1985, Jack. 1985.
Oh, no, no, dude. We're thinking of two different sequels.
No, we're thinking of the same one with Fruza Balk.
No, bro. No, we're not. We're thinking of two different James Franco was in a sequel to The Wizard of Oz as well.
Oh, yeah. No, that's that. I think that's the prequel. I'm talking about the sequel, which was like
Okay, but when was the prequel? How long ago was the James Franco
you're right. The
prequel?
James Franco one was like 3 years
So
ago.
recently.
Yeah, really recently. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah, well, that was a
That,
problem. Breakdown of
the
communication.
Firuza Balk.
Yeah.
I think maybe you're the only one who saw that film.
It was a.
I had no knowledge of that sequel.
You got to see that sequel. It is very weird. Like that is almost like if like Tim Burton was given the reins to direct the sequel to The Wizard of Oz. Walter Murch wrote the screenplay and directed it.
Oh, dude, you know what? We should maybe look through the classics and think about doing some sequels to break the record.
I've always thought Citizen Kane could do with him waking up and finding the sled.
That's true, dude. He didn't die at the end, did he? Oh, yes, he did.
Well, no,
That's
he
where his
just
dying
passes
words.
out. He just
I'm
passes out.
so dumb. I'm so dumb. Of course, he dies in the end. Spoiler alert: Citizen Kane dies at the end.
Yeah.
No, but I was thinking maybe we fucking get busy with like a Casablanca sequel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Casablanca Deuce. Because then it was like the Nazis were coming to get Humphrey Bogart. And this time, Trump is coming to get Humphrey's grandson, Damien Bogart. This thing's writing itself, bro.
Dude, you write me in this movie. I'm acting in it. Well, though I do think, Jack, we can't talk about future projects and future movies without talking about one day.
Dude, you know
I
what I
hope.
think it's called? You know what it's called?
What's it called?
Casablinski. It's kind of like Jablinski, but it's Casablanca. Casablinski.
My dream though is for you to one day do that Rocky Erickson movie that we talked about way back when.
Oh shit. Yeah. That's that seems like a magical project that's never gonna happen.
Nope, but I
But
dream
yeah,
it. I dream it.
never
You
say never.
well, I think you could sing those songs. Like that's the thing. Is like it's the trick is finding someone who can hold the role, but then also nail the vocal part.
Yeah, the later years jams.
Evil One, the best
Um
record of all time.
yeah. All the monsters.
Oh,
Um again two-headed dog, two-headed dog. I've been searching in the Kremlin for a two-headed dog.
I
Oh
would
my
settle
god,
for a
dude.
Tenacious D Rocky Erickson tribute record, to be
I'm
honest.
searching in the Kremlin for a two. These are as current as today's headlines.
I know exactly. Like that's the thing is like we are now living in the Evil One era.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's terrifying. Well, Jack, I can't keep you any longer because I have already infringed enough forcing you to come back so quickly after your part one. But thank you for addressing these burning questions.
I wonder how Rocky's feeling about the current political climate. I wonder if he's watching a lot of MSNBC like me. I try to watch 5 hours a day. That's
Five
just
hours a
my
day.
yeah, at least. They've got like a fucking 5 hour block. If you start at like 3 in the afternoon, you can go solid till midnight.
And just watch nothing but terrifying news headlines.
It's so bad for you. I mean,
So
it's just a thing, and they're all saying the same thing. Yeah.
mhm.
No, to be honest with you, I do tape 5 hours of it, but I do fast forward through it all. I just look for certain pundits that I'll stop. Stop and listen to them, and then I'll scoot through because it's too much for a brain to take.
It's a terrifying time that we're now living in a world that like, prophesized by Rocky Erickson and Bad Religion.
Exactly.
And it's
And
not getting
also, don't forget Mike Judge with that thing where the wrestler becomes a president.
yeah, absolutely idiocracy.
He prophesied it. He fucking prophesied it for reals.
That's why they didn't let that movie come out in theaters because they knew that he knew.
Well, whenever someone's ahead of their time like that, it never really lands right when it first comes out.
Yeah, that's true.
You gotta wait a decade or so.
That's true because it really feels like that with Tenacious D, right? Like it took less than 10 years, but like when it first came out on TV, it didn't really hit, right?
No, I have to disagree. It hit pretty good for us.
Oh, for
We
you
were
guys.
on the map. Yeah, we went from 0 to 60. It was pretty exciting for us. We were packing big rooms. Big for us anyway. But yeah, we've had some staying power over the years. But the thing is, um, what was I gonna say?
Staying power.
Something about the end. Something. No, it was something about the end of the world. Scary times. MSNBC. Donald Trump. Mike Judge. Oh, things that Casablinski. Things that take 10 years. Ah, fuck it. I can't remember. Hey, Damien, man.
Jack.